100% from my physical TBR. Like, I can't remember the last time dropping things, the last time I attempted to read like 10 books from my physical TBR, and I think it's probably top of my brain because I just filmed a few days ago a big ol' unhaul. You could probably tell. I just dropped it again. TBR cart's a little bit lighter, and I'm trying to make it even more so. So this is like 10-ish books from my cart. So the fun thing about my TBRs now that I just started doing last month is that I've been reading you the first line of all of these books that I plan to read over the next month. Sunday is very excited that I'm talking to a camera. Come here. I'm sorry if I woke you up from your nap. And I'm sure you'll be able to guess one or two projects that I have in the works with most of these. There's also a couple of extras and also my book club book, which is ironically the only one that I don't yet own physically, but it is on the way. I think I'm going to start with the nonfiction. I'm attempting a big chunky stack of nonfiction in March. I almost said April. Did I say April earlier? March TBR. Partly because I just have so much nonfiction on my physical TBR, it's time to make a dent. And also, my friends are hosting like a Women's History Month nonfiction readathon in the month of March. It's called Herstoryathon. I believe this is the second year that they've put it together. It's hosted by Brittany from Literarily Smitten and also Queenie Reads. I will link them both below and all of the readathon details below, but it's basically just like nonfiction about women in history or like modern culture, etc. So I'm not going to be like strictly following the bingo card that they've made, but in the spirit of Women's History Month and Herstoryathon, I do have a whole big old stack. So let's just take a look-see. First is Word Slut by Amanda Montell. I have started this and stopped this. It's been like my nightstand book for months and months and months. I read her more recent nonfiction, Cultish, a year or two ago when it originally came out. Love that book. That book became my personality, and I just have to read this. I have to get this off the list. This is about kind of women's speech patterns, or what are often like considered women's speech patterns, and why they are often ridiculed, why women have more like female coded insults thrown at them a lot of times. Amanda Montell is a linguist and like my personal, idol. I just think she's so cool and so smart, and I'm obsessed. I can't wait to actually read this cover to cover. This one I probably have read the first line. Couldn't tell you what it was, but let's find out. This is fun reading first lines of a bunch of nonfiction. We didn't do that last month. Chapter 0 is titled Meet Sociolinguistics, What All the Cool Feminists Are Talking About. Love it. The first line of chapter 0 is, when I say the word bitch, what comes to mind? ? I just love her, and I know that this is going to be so good. It's one of those I've been like putting off because I know I'm going to love it. I know this will also become my personality, so just be prepared for that. The next one on my list is Carefree Black Girls by Ziba Blay, a celebration of Black women in popular culture. This is written by the author who is credited with coining the term #Carefree Black Girls on Twitter in 2013. And so this is a bunch of her essays and thoughts on culture and Black women in modern culture. I've had this for a little while now, and I just think this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time to finally read it. Let's take a look-see at the first line. Let's see. Wait, this is the cutest dedication I've ever seen. I didn't even mean to like flip to the dedication, but she dedicated it to her younger self. Dedicated for little Z. That's like gonna make me tear up. An author's note with content warnings, love it. The first essay is called Bodies, and the first line of Bodies is, I've been thinking about Lizzo's body, period. I'm about to start this right now. It's not even March yet. Next, this is where you might be picking up on a pattern here. The next book on my nonfiction stack is Girlhood by Melissa Phoebos. This has been on my TBR for a long time. I recently picked up a physical copy of it. I just have an inkling. I just know that I'm gonna want to annotate this. I've had the ebook for quite a while, but I just, for some reason, had been neglecting it because I just know I'm gonna want to take notes and highlight. This is also a essay collection, and the like little summary sentence says, a gripping set of essays about the forces that shape girls and the adults they become. A wise and brilliant guide to transforming the self and our society. Why did I say it like that? Society. Let's see our first line here. Dedicated it to her mom. Precious. First line is in the prologue, which is an essay in like list format called Scarification. Number 1, first the knees, period. Okay, so technically it's the first line, but I want to keep going. First, the knees. They meet the gravel, the street, the blunt hips of curbs. Pain is the bright light flashing, forgotten for Vega's colors, then Halley's comet, a burning streak behind the clouds. Your father holds you up to the sky, tells you, look, tells you, remember this. You, small animal in the pink dress from your abuela, dirty sneakers, bloody knees, looking up. Okay, that was like 6 lines, but you're welcome. I'm glad we did that. This will be a treasure. And I'm just ready to read a bunch of like essays this month. You know, I'm in an essay kind of mood. Okay, we're gonna take a silly twist, which I think is less silly than it's going to appear. You just have to trust me. I have Jello Girls, A Family History by Ali Rowbottom. I have had this for a while. For a long time, it was like facing out on my TBR cart, and people would be like, what's Jello Girls? And it admittedly is kind of a clickbaity like title, I guess, but apparently the family legacy that of like the family that owns and like founded Jello is like very strange and almost like lore about a possible family curse on the women in this family legacy, which just is like, are you not intrigued? That sounds wild. Like all of the women in this family and like the Jello heiresses, like something tragic always just strikes like the next heiress apparently. So can't wait to see what that's about. I don't know if you can really tell, but there's like a doll stuck in this Jello mold. It's just the weirdest, kookiest thing, and I can't wait to finally read this. I almost forgot about the first line. Let's see. First line of Jello Girls. First line, she leaned forward, mouth opened for the wobbling pink Jello I steered toward her, period. Here comes the Jello train, I sing-songed as if she were a child and I her mother piloting a spoon into my baby's mouth. I'm obsessed. I can't wait. Okay, last on my nonfiction list for the month of March is Code Girls, The Untold Story of the American Women Codebreakers of World War II by Liza Mundy. And this has been on my radar ever since I read The Rose Code, like almost 2 years ago now, which is a historical fiction about some British code-breaking women that actually happened at Bletchley Park during World War II. And then I just like got this like crazy fascination with Code Girls during that time period, found this book, bought it, and then never picked it up. But it's time. It's time. I'm ready. Chapter 1 is called 28 Acres of Girls. September 1942. Chatham is a bump in the road in the southern part of Virginia, a small, picturesque town of just over 1,000 people with well-tended Victorians and a downtown known for its handsome red brick Greek Revival courthouse, period. Setting the stage? I can't wait. So, okay, those are my nonfiction picks for Women's History Month, Herstoryathon. And then I have my N.K. Jemisin pick of the month. I'm trying to read through the rest of N.K. Jemisin's backlist this year. And my March pick is her graphic novel, Far Sector. And all I really know is that this is a sci-fi graphic novel that she wrote in collaboration with the artist. And I didn't need to know anything else. So I don't know much to tell you about it. What I can get from the very brief paragraph on the back is that this is like a futuristic, science-y utopia where there hasn't been a violent crime in hundreds of years, and then a murder happens, and there's like so many fingers. This literally, this says 20 billion suspects. Like everyone is a potential suspect for murder. What a, like that sounds so good. And how are we gonna read the first line? First panel, maybe? Okay, the first panel is an entire page, which like, look at these colors, first of all. This looks like a broken wing and like a bloody hand with extra fingers. And it's like a quote that says, "A man who makes trouble for others is also making it for himself." Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the book club pick for the month, which is Phaedra by Laura Shepperson. This is her debut novel, and it is a feminist Greek retelling of the story of Phaedra. And like, it's been compared to Madeline Miller's Circe, just like a different person in the myth, in the lore. And this does have some content warnings. I will link the Storygraph page below so you could check that out. Storygraph does a really great job of listing like all content warnings for every book. They're all like user entered. I use it all the time. It's very helpful. So, okay, this is a retelling of the story of Phaedra. Phaedra has been cast to the side all her life. She's the daughter of an adulteress, sister of a monster, and now the unwilling bride to the much older, power-hungry Theseus. Young, naive, and idealistic, she has accepted her lot in life, resigned to existing under the sinister weight of Theseus's control and the constant watchful eye of her handsome stepson Hippolytus. And we will now read the first line together. The live show for this will be the second Wednesday of April, is typically when I do my book club live shows. Phaedra. I was 8 years old when I first heard about my mother's reputation, although I didn't understand what I was hearing then, period. Getting right to it. Getting right to it. So that is Silly Goose Book Club for the month of March. And sweet transition, Noelle. I still have to read the book club pick for February, the first week of March, because this is like, why do I do this? Book club is always the second Wednesday, which gives me like a whole week to actually read the book. You know, we're not gonna overthink that. So February's pick was Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I'm pretty sure I read the first line of this in last month's TBR, because this was obviously on last month's TBR, but we're going to read it again together anyways. This is Talia Hibbert's YA debut. It's a young adult romance, and I have so far heard just like amazing reviews about it. Chapter 1, Celine. Oh, now I remember. It's the first day of school, and I'm already being forced to socialize, period. It's like, what an icon. I love her already. This I know is about like two friends in high school, or like they used to be best friends and then something happens and they're not friends anymore, but they get thrown together on this like outdoorsy project or camping trip or something. It's kind of like a nerd jock situation dynamic. That's really all I need to know. I'm very excited. And we will be discussing on March 8th, Wednesday, March 8th. So a week or so from the time this goes live. If you notice a certain color scheme or theme, no you don't, okay? Don't worry about it. The next one on my list is Self-Care by Lee Stein, a novel. And this I've had for so long. I've been like looking at it on my TBR cart for so long, and I'm so excited to finally crack it open and figure it out. This is a very short litfic satire about internet culture and influencer culture. And if that doesn't sell you, like, I don't know what will. Like, satirical literary fiction about internet influencer culture. That sounds so good. Let's find our first line. Okay, the first line. By the time Devin found me, I'd been at the office for 14 hours and was lying on a lavender velvet chaise, fortifying myself with room temperature staff kitchen Chardonnay that I'd poured into a, quote, male tears mug, scrolling through my various feeds, using multiple search terms, absorbing every abusive thing people were saying about me, at Marin Gelb. Marin Gelb. Stupid I knew I would love this. I knew I would love this. It's time. Next is Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. Recently picked this up physically. I know that the cover is bright pink. What does it remind you of? I don't know. That's so weird. This is like a little bit romance, a little bit literary, and I think a little bit also commentary on like modern dating life, internet culture type of a thing. If I'm wrong, I don't want to know. I plan to go into this without knowing much beyond that. So if I'm wrong, I will figure it out shortly. Chapter 1. Gabe Parker is shoeless, shirtless, and holding a puppy. I mean, I like Gabe Parker already, so this should be fun. Okay, down to the last two. The next one is Hey Ladies, a story of 8 best friends, 1 year, and way too many emails. This I found used a while ago, and it just really intrigued me, but I just, obviously haven't picked it up yet. This is fictional, but is also entirely mixed media, mostly entirely in emails and texts, and like some like files and stuff. And I just think that's so fun. I love mixed media, kind of unconventional formats like this. Hey Ladies, I'm gonna read you the kind of back summary of this. Hey Ladies is a laugh out loud read that follows a fictitious but all too familiar group of 8 20 and 30 something female friends for 1 year of their lives. Told through a series of email chains, text messages, and illustrations, this book takes you along for the roller coaster ride of holiday celebrations, book clubs, summer house rentals, wedding showers, Instagram stalking, brunches, breakups, and of course, all the inside jokes and harsh truths that only best friends share. Like, tell me that doesn't sound so good. And with the mixed media, come on. But it might be interesting to figure out the first line of this too. Like, let's see how they do that. So these are our 8 best friends. Wow, I love this. Okay, January. Subject, New Year equals new us. Hey ladies, rabbit rabbit, happy new year. I know this is going to be our best year yet. Setting the stage. This, I'm assuming, similar to a graphic novel, will just be a very quick and fun read, and I'm really looking forward to it. Then, last on the listy list, I have Volume 1 of Lore Olympus. Finally. So many people have recommended this to me or have been like surprised to learn that I haven't read this yet. This just sounds specifically like it was meant for me to read. This is like a modern retelling of Hades and Persephone through graphic novel format. Well, it was like a webtoon first that's not like now being released in graphic novel volumes, with, kind of a modern like feminist twist apparently, and that just are all things that I love. So I'm expecting also to love this. Let's find our first line, or first panel of Lore Olympus. This is our first spread. We have like a car in the rain, and then Hades in the car, and then Hades texting someone, and the text is, Hades, where are you? ? And then someone says, ha! Lore Olympus. That is the TBR. Is it a ambitious one? It kind of feels like it's ambitious because of all the nonfiction, and because I like physically have them all. That feels ambitious too. But March is a longer month than February. It should be okay. Let me know if you have read any of these, if you are planning to read any of these, what you are reading in March, if there's anything in particular you're reading for Women's History Month or Herstoryathon, like all of those things, you know how it goes. And feel free to come say hi over on Instagram at Noelle7pages. You can subscribe to my Sillyverse newsletter if you like. That link will be below for Substack. Otherwise, I'm getting back into regular uploading schedule, regular filming schedule, so you should see me at least weekly. And I'm excited about it. It feels good to be like getting back to the swing of things after just a really wild transition period for me the last couple of months. So, thank you for watching. Give your dog a big ol' hug from me, and I will see you very soon. Love you, bye!